After she left, the house became silent, a silence that weighed like rain on empty windows. His hands no longer knew what to hold. His eyes no longer knew where to look. Until one afternoon, someone knocked on the door. She was small, blind, and she needed someone to describe the world to her. And Alex understood something he had forgotten, that one does not live for oneself again. You live again when someone needs you. Like this, if it touched your soul, it is more than a click. It is a silent hug between those of us who know how much it hurts to love. Comment how you think this story will end. And if you haven't subscribed yet, it costs you nothing, but for us, it means the whole world. Thanks for being here. The monitor screen divided the world into 9 blue squares. Alex Miller pressed his fingers against the mahogany desk while he watched every corner of the mansion. Living room, kitchen, upper hallway, Lucy's room. Everything was there, recorded, filed, controlled. The light of the New York sunset came in through the study window, drawing gold lines on the bookshelves full of books that no one read anymore. Outside, the old oak trees moved with the warm September breeze, but Alex did not see them. His eyes were fixed on screen number 5, his daughter's room. Lucy was sitting on the rug with her legs crossed, moving her fingers over the braille pages of a story. She was 8 years old and had brown hair tied in a braid that was starting to come apart. She wore a yellow sweater that he had bought without asking her, because once his wife told him that color would look good on her. The girl did not lift her head when the door opened. She could not see it. She never could. Alex squeezed his fist. 4 years since the car accident that took his wife. 4 years taking care of Lucy alone. 4 years feeling that the world was a dangerous place, full of sharp corners and sharp words that could hurt her without him being able to see it coming. 7 nannies had passed through that house. 7 women with perfect resumes and practiced smiles who, one after another, proved to be not enough. One spoke too loud. Another left Lucy waiting without explaining why. 2 shouted when they got frustrated. The last one barely talked to the girl, only doing her hours like it was a factory job. Alex had fired them all. "Dad is busy, honey." His own voice came through the monitor speaker. It was a recording from 2 days ago. "We will talk later." On the screen, Lucy lowered her head and kept touching the book. She did not cry. She never cried when he did not have time. She just kept quiet, as if she had learned that waiting was part of her life. Alex closed his eyes. The knot in his throat was familiar, uncomfortable, unavoidable. Tomorrow a new employee would arrive, the 8th, Martha Reed, 53 years old, widow, no college degree. Her resume was short. She had worked taking care of a girl with a visual disability in Chicago for 5 years. The references were good, but not great. Nothing that impressed. Nothing that guaranteed this time would be different. Alex looked at the screens again. Lucy was still alone, touching the pages with infinite patience. Tomorrow, he thought, I will watch every move. And if she failed, like all the others, I would not hesitate to fire her. Martha Reed arrived at 8 in the morning, on time, like a clock. She did not bring big suitcases or fancy bags, only a worn cloth backpack and a thermos of home coffee. She wore beige cotton pants and a plain white blouse. Her face was calm, weathered by the sun, with wrinkles that looked like rivers drawn by years of smiles and worries in equal parts. Alex met her in the main hall. The high ceilings echoed his steps on the marble. He wore a perfect grey suit, freshly ironed, with silver cufflinks that reflected the light of the central lamp. Martha greeted him with a firm but brief handshake, without trying to impress. "Mr. Miller, Mrs. Reed." Alex studied her face, looking for signs of nerves. He found none. "I hope the trip from Chicago was not hard." It was quiet. "Thank you for asking." There was a silence. Alex did not know how to continue. The other nannies had filled that space with praise for the house, questions about the job, trying to be liked. Martha just waited, with her hands joined in front of her. "I will show you the house," he said finally. "Lucy's room is on the 2nd floor." They went up the spiral stairs. Alex explained the rules. Mealtimes, hygiene routines, allowed activities. Martha nodded without stopping him, taking mental notes. When they reached Lucy's door, Alex stopped. "You must understand something, Mrs. Reed. My daughter cannot see, but she senses everything. If you are tense, she notices. If you doubt, she feels it. If you get impatient." He paused. She suffers. Martha looked him straight in the eyes. I am not a nurse, Mr. Miller. I don't have diplomas on walls or framed certificates, but I know how to care, I know how to listen, and I know that a blind child needs more than eyes. She needs hands that speak, words that paint, and time that is not in a hurry. Alex blinked. No one had spoken to him like that before. Then go ahead, he said, opening the door. Lucy was by the window, standing with her hands touching the glass. The morning sun lit up her face. She turned her head toward the sound of the steps. Dad? I am here, honey. Alex went close and touched her shoulder. I want to introduce you to someone. Her name is Martha. She's going to take care of you. Lucy said nothing. Her expression was neutral, not curious or closed. She had learned not to get her hopes up. Martha knelt in front of her without touching her yet. Hello, Lucy. My name is Martha. I'm going to be with you, but first I need you to give me permission to touch you. Can I? The girl tilted her head slightly, surprised by the question. No one had asked her permission before. Yes. Martha reached out her hand and placed it gently over Lucy's without squeezing. Thank you. My hands are a bit rough because I like to cook and do gardening. And I have a scar here on my index finger from when I was young, and I cut myself peeling oranges. Do you want to feel it? Lucy ran her fingers over Martha's hand, exploring the scar, the texture of the skin, the size of the fingers. Then she smiled. Not much, just a small lift in the corner of her lips. Alex watched from the door. Something inside him loosened just a little. That night in his study, he turned on the monitors with more care than ever. The cameras caught every angle. Alex had spent a fortune on that system. Hidden lenses, sensitive microphones, cloud storage, all to make sure nothing escaped him. That night after dinner, he locked himself in his study with a glass of red wine that he barely tasted and started to review the recordings of the day. The first scene was from breakfast. Martha had prepared toast with jam and a glass of warm milk. She placed everything on the table and before sitting down, described the place of each item. Lucy, your plate is in the center, in front of you. The toasts are two, placed sideways. To your right, the glass of milk. To your left, a cloth napkin. If you move your fingers about 4 inches forward, you will touch the fork. The girl moved her hand slowly, feeling the air until she found the tool. She smiled. I found it. Perfect. Now, before eating, I'm going to tell you something about this jam. I made it myself with strawberries I bought yesterday at the market. The strawberries smelled sweet, as if they had just woken up from the sun. Do you want to smell it before tasting it? Lucy put her nose close to the plate and breathed in deep. It smells like summer. Exactly, that is right. Like summer that stays trapped in the jar. Alex stopped the video. He rewound. He listened to it again. Like summer that stays trapped in the jar. It was a strange way to describe jam, but Lucy had smiled. A real natural smile, the kind he did not remember seeing in a long time. He moved the recording forward. In the middle of the morning, Martha took Lucy to the garden. The backyard was big, surrounded by jasmine that filled the air with scent. Martha explained every plant, every texture. She made her touch the leaves of the oak, rough and strong. The jasmine flowers, soft like silk. The bark of the lemon tree, bumpy like sandpaper. Do you know what is the most beautiful thing about this garden, Lucy? What? That you don't need to see it to enjoy it. Here, everything speaks. The wind in the leaves, the song of the birds, the smell of wet earth after watering. It is a garden that tells you stories without words. Lucy touched a jasmine flower and took it to her nose. She breathed deep, closing her eyes as if she wanted to memorize that smell forever. Alex felt a weight in his chest. How many times had he taken his daughter to the garden? How many times had he sat with her to listen to the wind? The answer shamed him. None. The next scene was from the afternoon. Lucy was in her room, restless. She had tried to read in Braille, but her fingers moved without aim over the pages. Martha came in with a tray of tea and cookies. What is the matter, little one? Lucy did not answer right away. She bit her lower lip, a move she made when something worried her. I miss my mum. Alex held his breath. The other nannies always changed the subject when Lucy mentioned her mother. Don't think about that, it's over. Your dad is here. Empty phrases that only made the girl close up more. Martha sat by her side, not in a hurry. Of course you miss her. It is normal. Do you want to tell me something about her? Lucy nodded slowly. She smelled like vanilla, always, and she sang to me before bed. Songs I didn't understand, but I liked them. I am sure they were very pretty. Martha took Lucy's hand in hers. You know what I think? I think your mum would be very proud of you, of how brave you are, how smart you are, how loving you are. Do you think so? I am sure. Lucy leaned her head on Martha's shoulder. She said nothing else. It was not needed. Alex turned off the monitor. He could not keep watching. He got up from the chair and walked to the study window. Night had fallen over the trees, and fireflies were starting to light up in the dark. He thought of his wife, of her laugh, of the way I used to fill the house with light. He thought of all he had lost, and all he had stopped giving. He ran his hand over his face, tired. For the first time in years, he did not know if he was protecting his daughter or hiding from her. The next days became a routine of obsessive watching. Alex checked every recording, every talk, every move. He looked for mistakes, things that didn't match, signs that Martha was not who she seemed to be. But he found nothing. Only patience, only kindness, only presence. One afternoon, while he was working at his office downtown, he got a call from Martha. "Mr. Miller, I am sorry to bother you. Lucy had a small accident on the stairs. She is fine. She just got scared. But I think it would be good if we talked about some improvements in the house." Alex felt his heart stop. "What happened? Is she hurt?" "No, she didn't hit herself, but she tripped on the last step because there are no tactile signs to tell her where it ends. It would be helpful to put a rug with a different texture at the end of each flight of stairs. That way she would know when to stop." Alex breathed deep, trying to calm down. "I will fix it today. Are you sure she is fine?" "She is here with me, having hot chocolate. She wants to talk to you." There was a sound of movement and then Lucy's voice. "Dad, I'm here, honey. Are you okay?" "Yes, I just got scared. Martha says it wasn't my fault, that the house has to help me more. She is right. I am going to fix it. I promise." "Thanks, Dad." The call ended. Alex stayed looking at the phone with his jaw tight. For 4 years he had believed the house was safe. He had put in cameras, hired people, watched every corner. But it had never occurred to him to ask someone who actually understood the needs of his daughter. That night, before checking the recordings, he called an accessibility specialist. He explained the situation and asked him to visit the house the next day. When he finally turned on the monitors, he did it with a mix of guilt and curiosity. The first scene showed the moment of the accident. Lucy was going down the stairs carefully, touching the railing with her right hand. She was counting the steps in a low voice, as she had been taught. 19, 20, 21. But when she reached the last one, she thought there was one more. She moved her foot out and tripped, falling on her knees on the floor. She did not scream. She just stayed still, breathing fast, with her hands shaking. Martha appeared in seconds. She did not run. She went close calmly, knelt by her side, and spoke with a firm but soft voice. "Lucy, it's me. You are on the floor, in front of the stairs. You didn't hit yourself. You are safe. Breathe with me. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. Lucy obeyed. Her breathing calmed down little by little. Martha touched her hands and held them firmly. "Good. Now we are going to get up together. When I count to 3, you stand up. Ready? 1, 2, 3. They got up at the same time. Lucy held onto Martha's arm like it was a lifesaver. "I am scared." "I know. Fear is normal after a scare. But you are not going to let it win, right?" Lucy shook her head. "No. That is my brave girl." Alex paused the video. He felt a knot in his throat he could not undo. He remembered all the times Lucy had tripped, all the times he had reacted with panic, with shouts, with bans. "Don't go down the stairs alone. Don't go into the garden without me. Don't move from your room." He had confused protection with prison. He kept watching. Martha took Lucy to the kitchen and made hot chocolate while she explained, step by step, how she did it. "First, I heat the milk. Listen to it bubble. Then I add the cocoa. The smell becomes stronger, do you notice? Now I mix it 3 turns clockwise." Lucy listened closely, with her head tilted, as if she were painting the scene in her mind. "Martha, can I ask you something?" "Sure. Do you also get scared?" "Sometimes." Martha stayed silent a moment before answering. "Yes, I'm scared of many things, of getting sick, of being alone, of not being enough for the people who need me. But I have learned that fear doesn't go away if you avoid it. It goes away when you face it, little by little, with help. And who helps you? The people who love me, and the people I take care of, like you. Lucy smiled. A small smile, but real. Alex turned off the monitor. He stayed sitting in the dark of the study with his hands shaking on the desk. For the first time in 4 years he let himself cry. Not for his wife, though he missed her. Not for his daughter's blindness, though it hurt. He cried for all the time lost, for all the hugs he didn't give, for all the talks he avoided. And he understood with painful clarity that the biggest danger for Lucy had never been the outside world. It had been her own father. Alex did not tell Martha that he had seen the recordings. He did not tell her how much they had moved him. But something in him started to change. He arrived home earlier. He asked about Lucy's day in more detail, and for the first time in years, he tried to listen without stopping her. One afternoon, while Martha was making dinner, Alex walked into the kitchen. She was cutting vegetables with exact moves, humming an old song he did not know. Lucy was sitting at the counter with a bowl of peas in front of her, helping to shell them. "Mr. Miller, do you want to have dinner with us?" "Tonight?" Martha asked without looking up. "I am making pot roast. My grandmother's recipe." Alex hesitated. Usually he ate in his study, checking papers, answering emails. But something in the invite broke his guard. "I would like that." Lucy turned her head toward his voice, surprised. "Really, Dad? Really?" Dinner was different from anything Alex remembered. Martha served the food in a large dish, placing it in the middle of the table. She described every part: the carrots that were soft and sweet, the meat that broke apart with a fork, the smell of herbs that rose with the steam. Lucy ate slowly, tasting every bite. She asked questions about how it was made, about the flavors, about the textures. Alex realized that his daughter was not just eating, she was learning to enjoy. "Martha, can I ask you something?" Alex said after a while. "Of course. How did you learn to talk like that with her? To describe everything that way?" Martha put her fork down on the plate and looked at Lucy with a warm smile. "I took care of a girl named Sophie for 5 years. She was also blind. At first I didn't know what to do. I spoke little. I moved in silence, as if I was scared to bother her. But one day Sophie asked me, 'Martha, what is the sky like?' And I realized she didn't need silence. She needed words. She needed someone to tell her the world." "And how did you answer?" Lucy asked. "I told her the sky was like a huge sheet, sometimes white like milk, sometimes blue like deep water, and that sometimes it was painted with clouds that looked like cotton castles." Lucy stayed thinking. "I would like you to tell me what the sky is like here, in New York." Martha looked out the window. The sunset painted the horizon orange and purple. "Right now the sky is like an open fruit, orange in the middle where the sun is going down, and then dark purple at the edges like ripe plums. And there are thin clouds that look like threads of cotton candy." Alex watched his daughter. Lucy had her eyes closed, but her face was relaxed as if she were really seeing what Martha described. "It is beautiful," she whispered. Alex felt something inside him break, not with pain, but with relief, like when a dam opens and the water can finally run free. That night, he did not check the recordings. He just sat in the armchair in his room, with the lights off, thinking of all he had lost by believing that watching was the same as loving. On Saturday, Martha suggested an activity Alex had never thought of: taking Lucy to the market. He got tense right away. "I don't know if it's a good idea. There are many people, a lot of noise. She could get lost." "She won't get lost, Mr. Miller. I will be with her. And also, I think it would do her good to leave the house, to know the world even a little bit." Alex hesitated. His instinct was to say no, protect her, keep her inside the safe walls of the mansion. But then he remembered Lucy's smile when Martha described the sky. He remembered how his daughter had laughed for the first time in months, and he understood that saying no would be again putting his fears above her needs. "Okay, but I am coming with you." The city market was a busy place of colors, voices, and smells. The stalls lined up under cloth roofs, selling fruits, vegetables, fresh fish, cheeses, spices. Alex walked tense, with Lucy's hand held tight in his, but Martha went in front, saying hello to the sellers, having Lucy touch the fruits, smell the spices, listen to the stories behind each product. "Lucy, this is an eggplant. Touch it. It is smooth but firm, like a ball full of water, and it smells like wet earth. Lucy ran her hands over the eggplant, laughing. It is strange. I like it. Martha took her to the spice stall. She showed her cinnamon, pepper, cumin. She let her smell each one, told her what they were used for, where they came from. An older seller, with a grey moustache and stained apron, leaned over the counter. Is she your granddaughter? Martha smiled. No, but I care for her as if she were. It shows. You have the patience of a grandmother. Alex watched the scene from behind. No one looked at Lucy with pity. No one spoke of her, as if she were not there. Martha included her in every talk, asked her opinion, gave her the lead, and Lucy, little by little, was opening up like a flower to the sun. On the way back, Lucy was talking without stopping. She told her father everything she had touched, smelled, heard. Alex listened to her but also watched Martha. She walked in silence with a small smile on her lips, letting the girl shine. When they reached home, Alex asked Martha to stay a moment. Lucy went up to her room, and the two stayed in the hall. I want to apologize, Alex said. Martha looked at him, surprised. Why? For doubting you, for watching you as if you were a criminal, for not trusting. Mr. Miller, you don't owe me any apology. She is your daughter. It is normal that you want to protect her. But you... Alex stopped, looking for words. You are giving her something I didn't know how to give her, and I don't know how to thank you. Martha looked at him with that calm that seemed to come from deep inside. Don't thank me, just love her, but love her without fear. Because fear, Mr. Miller, does not protect. It chokes. Alex nodded with a knot in his throat. That night, for the first time in weeks, he did not turn on the monitors. The following days became lighter. Alex started to spend more time with Lucy, not just watching but taking part. Martha taught him how to describe things in a sensory way, how to announce his moves before touching her, how to give her space to explore without disappearing. One afternoon, while Lucy was practicing reading Braille in the garden, Alex sat by Martha in the kitchen. She was peeling apples to make a pie, with slow and exact moves. Can I ask you something personal? Alex said. Sure. Why do you do this? Caring for children with disabilities. It is not easy. It doesn't pay well, and yet you do it with a focus that I haven't seen in anyone else. Martha put the knife down on the cutting board. She looked out the window toward the garden where Lucy read under the shade of the oak. Because I also had a daughter. Alex felt the world stop. Had? She died when she was 10. Leukemia. Martha spoke without drama, with the firm voice of someone who has cried so much she has no tears left. Her name was Claire. She was smart, loving, stubborn. She loved to draw, though at the end she didn't even have the strength to hold the pencil. I am very sorry. I am too. For years after her death, I couldn't work with children. It hurt too much. But one day, a neighbor asked me to take care of her blind daughter while she worked, and when I met that girl, Sophie, I understood something. I couldn't bring Claire back, but I could care for other girls as if they were her. I could give them what Claire could no longer receive. Alex did not know what to say. He stayed in silence, processing the weight of those words. That is why I care for Lucy, as if she were mine, Martha continued. Because in a way, all the girls I care for are a little piece of Claire that stays alive. Alex felt a deep, painful shame. He had spent years locked in his own pain, sure that no one else could understand him. But Martha had lost more than he had, and instead of closing up, she had chosen to open up. I don't know how to do that, he admitted. I don't know how to let go of the fear. You don't let it go, Mr. Miller. You learn to live with it, but without letting it be the one in charge. Alex nodded slowly. For the first time in years, he felt that someone really understood him. That night he checked the recordings one last time, but not to look for errors, but to learn, to see how Martha spoke, how she moved, how she listened, and he promised himself he would try to be even just a little like her. Weeks passed. Lucy bloomed. She was no longer the quiet and withdrawn girl Alex had raised. Now she talked more, laughed more, asked more. Martha had taught her to move through the house with confidence, to count steps, to use her white cane naturally. She had even started to cook with her, measuring items with adapted cups and spoons, learning to recognize textures and temperatures with her hands. But Alex knew there was something he had not solved. something that kept him awake at night, looking at the ceiling of his room with the weight of guilt pressing on his chest. One Sunday afternoon, while Martha took Lucy to read in the garden, Alex stayed alone in the study. He opened the bottom drawer of the desk, the one he never opened, and took out a carved wooden box. Inside were photos of his wife, smiling at the beach, hugging Lucy when she was born, laughing in the kitchen with flour on her nose. The last photo was different. It had been taken weeks before the accident. His wife looked at the camera with an expression Alex had never forgotten, sadness disguised as a smile. They had argued that morning about something he didn't even remember now, something about work, about time, about priorities. "You are not here," she had told him. "You are in the house, but you are not present. Lucy needs you. I need you. But you only see numbers and contracts." Alex had not answered her. He had left the house, angry, sure that she did not understand the pressure he carried. And 2 weeks later, she had died in that stupid, absurd, unfair accident. He never asked for forgiveness. He never told her she was right. He closed his eyes, squeezing the photo between his fingers. Tears came without permission, burning his cheeks. He cried for her. He cried for all the time he didn't give her. He cried for all the times he chose work over his family. And he cried because, even after her death, he had kept doing the same with Lucy, being present physically, but absent emotionally. There was a soft knock on the door. "Mr. Miller." It was Martha. Alex dried his tears quickly, but she had already seen his face. "Sorry, I didn't want to bother you. Lucy asks if you want to read her a story before bed." Alex breathed deep, pulling himself together. "Yes. Yes, of course, I will be there in a moment." Martha nodded, but she didn't leave. She stayed at the door with that calm look that seemed to see everything without judging anything. "Mr. Miller, if I may tell you something, the past cannot be changed, but the present can. And your daughter doesn't need a perfect father. She only needs one who is there." Alex looked at her. The words were simple, almost obvious, but coming from her, from someone who had lost so much and still kept going, they had a different weight. "Thank you, Martha." She smiled and left. Alex put the photo away, closed the box, and went up to Lucy's room. He found her sitting on the bed, with a braille book on her legs. When she heard his steps, she lifted her head. "Dad? I'm here, honey. What book do you want me to read to you?" "No, Dad. Today I want to read to you." Alex sat on the bed, surprised. "Yes?" "Yes. Martha helped me practice all week. I want you to see how I read." Lucy started to move her fingers over the braille dots, reading slowly but clearly. It was a story about a bird that had lost its colors and traveled the world looking for them. Alex listened to her, but also watched her, the focus on her face, the way her fingers moved with safety, the confidence in her voice. When she finished, Lucy closed the book and smiled. "Did you like it?" Alex hugged her, hard, like he hadn't done in years. "I loved it. I'm very proud of you." Lucy held on to him, surprised but happy. "I love you, Dad. I love you too, honey." More than words can say. That night, Alex did not need to check any recording. For the first time in a long time, he fell asleep in peace. As the months went by, the house stopped feeling like a tomb. Lucy's laughs filled the hallways. The smells of Martha's cooking drifted through every corner, and Alex little by little learned to be a father in a way he had never known. One morning, Martha suggested something Alex did not expect. "I think Lucy should go to school." Alex looked up from the paper, alarmed. "To school? What school would take her?" "There is an inclusive school downtown. They have a special program for children with visual disabilities. I have talked with the principal. They are ready to take her." "I don't know, Martha. It is very early." "Mr. Miller, Lucy is 8 years old. She should already be socializing with other children, learning, playing, making friends. She cannot stay locked up here all her life." Alex pressed his lips. He knew Martha was right, but the idea of sending Lucy to a place where he could not control every variable, every talk, every possible danger, filled him with worry. And if they treat her bad, and if they make fun of her, then she will learn to defend herself. She will learn that the world is not always kind, but that she is strong enough to face it, and we will be here to support her. Alex stayed in silence, looking out the window. The oak trees moved with the spring wind. He thought of all Lucy had achieved in the last months, walking alone through the house, cooking, reading, laughing, all thanks to Martha, all because someone had trusted her. "Okay," he said finally, "but I want to visit the school first." Martha smiled. Of course. The school was a modern building, bright with adapted classrooms and trained teachers. The principal, a middle-aged woman with round glasses and a warm smile, showed them the place. There were ramps, braille signs, adapted materials. But what impressed Alex most was seeing the children, playing together, no matter their differences, helping each other. "Here we don't separate children with disabilities," the principal explained. "We believe everyone learns better when they are together, and we have seen that children without disabilities grow more empathy and patience when they live with classmates who have different needs." Alex watched a girl in a wheelchair laughing with her friends, a boy with Down syndrome reading aloud, another with hearing aids playing the piano, and he understood that Martha was right. Lucy needed this. She needed a world bigger than the walls of her house. When they returned to the mansion, Alex called Lucy to the living room. He sat by her on the sofa and took her hands. "Honey, I want to ask you something. Would you like to go to school, meet other children, learn new things?" Lucy stayed still a moment. "Are there other children like me in that school?" "There are children of all types. Some are blind like you, others are not. But everyone learns together. And will you come with me on the first day? I will be with you as long as you need." Lucy nodded slowly. "Then yes, I want to go." Alex hugged her, feeling a mix of pride and fear. But this time, the fear did not stop him. It moved him to find the best way to prepare his daughter for this new step. During the next weeks, Martha worked with Lucy to teach her social skills, how to introduce herself, how to ask for help, how to say what she felt. Alex watched the lessons, sometimes taking part, learning himself too. The first day of school arrived with a bright sun. Lucy wore her new uniform, her backpack with adapted tools and her white cane. She was nervous, but also excited. Alex took her by the hand to the classroom. Martha went behind, quiet but present. The teacher, a young woman named Sarah, knelt in front of Lucy. "Hello, Lucy. My name is Sarah. I'm going to be your teacher. Can I show you your desk?" Lucy nodded. Sarah guided her with patience, explaining where everything was, introducing her to her classmates one by one. Alex watched from the door, with his heart in his throat. Martha touched his arm softly. "It is time to go, Mr. Miller. She will be fine." Alex looked at his daughter one last time. Lucy was sitting at her desk, touching the materials with curiosity, with a small smile on her lips. She looked happy. "You are right," he said, with a scratchy voice. "Let's go." On the way back, neither of them spoke, but Alex knew something had changed. He had taken the first step to let Lucy live her own life, and though the fear was still there, it was no longer the one in charge. The weeks passed, and Lucy adjusted to school better than anyone expected. She made friends, took part in class, brought home stories that she told with excitement. Alex listened to her amazed, realizing that his daughter was not just learning math or language, she was learning to be herself. One afternoon, Lucy arrived home quieter than usual. Martha noticed right away. "What happened at school, little one?" Lucy bit her lip. "Nothing." "It doesn't look like nothing. Do you want to tell me?" Lucy hesitated but finally spoke. "There is a boy in my class, Tom. Today he asked me why I can't see. I explained that I was born this way, and he said it must be very sad to live in the dark." Alex, who was listening from the door, felt his blood boil. How did that boy dare say that to his daughter? But Martha answered calmly. "And what did you tell him?" "I told him I don't live in the dark, that I see with my hands, with my ears, with my nose, that the world has more colors than can be seen with eyes." Martha smiled, proud. "Well said." "But he didn't believe me. He said I only said it to feel better." "And did it bother you that he said that?" Lucy shrugged her shoulders. "A little, but then I thought of something you told me, that people speak from what they know. Tom doesn't know what my life is like. He only knows his, so I can't be mad at him for not understanding." Alex was speechless. His 8-year-old daughter had just shown more emotional maturity than he had in all his adult life. Martha hugged Lucy. "You are very wise, little one, and very brave." That night, Alex sat at his desk, but not to check recordings, but to write. He wrote a letter to himself, a list of all the lessons his daughter and Martha had taught him without knowing it, about patience, about trust, about letting go of control, about living without fear. When he finished, he put the letter in the drawer where he used to keep the photos of his wife, and he promised to read it every time he felt the fear trying to take charge again. One Saturday morning, Alex got an unexpected call. It was the school principal. "Mr. Miller, I would like to invite you to a special event. The children are going to present a project about their talents. Lucy will take part. I think you would like to be here." Alex accepted right away. That afternoon, while Martha helped Lucy get ready, he realized something. He no longer felt fear. He felt curiosity, excitement, pride. The school hall was full of parents, teachers, and children. The chairs were set up in front of a small stage with red curtains. Alex sat in the second row with Martha by his side. His heart beat fast, but not from worry, from waiting. The principal went up on stage and said welcome. Then, one by one, the children showed their talents. Some sang, others danced, others said poems. Everyone was clapped for warmly. Finally, it was Lucy's turn. "And now, we want to present Lucy Miller. She is going to play the piano." Alex blinked, confused. The piano? Lucy had never mentioned she was learning to play the piano. Martha whispered in his ear. "She wanted it to be a surprise. The music teacher has been teaching her after school." Lucy went up on stage, guided by her teacher. She sat in front of the piano, placed her hands on the keys, and breathed deep. Then she started to play. The song was simple but beautiful, a slow, moving song that filled the hall with a deep calm. Alex watched his daughter's hands moving with safety over the keys, her eyes closed, her face focused but calm. It was not perfect. She missed a note, she paused on another, but she kept going without stopping, without giving up. And when she finished, the hall burst into applause. Lucy smiled, a huge, glowing smile. She stood up, made a small bow, and left the stage. Alex got up right away and went to hug her. "You were amazing, honey. Why didn't you tell me you were learning? I wanted to surprise you." "Well, you did." Alex hugged her tighter, with his eyes full of tears. "I am very, very proud of you." Lucy held on to him, laughing. "I am proud of me too." Martha watched them from far away with a quiet smile. Alex looked at her and made a thank you sign. She nodded, without need for words. That night, while Lucy slept, Alex stayed in his study, but this time he did not turn on the monitors. He had unplugged them weeks ago. He didn't need them anymore. He no longer needed to watch to feel safe. He went to the window and looked at the oak trees under the moonlight. The world was still unpredictable. It was still dangerous, but it was also full of chances, of surprises, of beautiful moments he could never control or see coming. And for the first time in years, he was okay with that. Months passed. Lucy kept growing, learning, blooming. Alex kept working. But now he arrived early, shared dinners, read stories, asked questions. And most of all, he listened. Martha stayed a constant presence, but she was no longer just an employee. She was part of the family. She ate with them, gave her opinion on decisions, cheered every achievement of Lucy as if it were her own. One day Alex got a letter from the school. The principal asked for an urgent meeting. His heart skipped. Had something happened? Was Lucy okay? He arrived at the school with Martha, tense and worried. The principal met them with a smile. "Don't worry, it's nothing bad." On the contrary. She led them to her office and took out a folder. "Mr. Miller, I want to talk to you about Lucy. Since she came to our school, she has shown great progress, not just in schoolwork but emotionally. She is kind, empathetic, strong, and that has affected her classmates in a very positive way." Alex felt his chest swell with pride. "Thank you, but a lot of the credit goes to Martha. She has been key in her growth." The principal looked at Martha with respect. "I know. I have talked to the teachers, and everyone says Lucy has a very solid emotional base. You don't get that just with formal school. You get it with love, patience, and care. And clearly she has had that at home." Martha looked down, modest. "I only did what any person would do." "No, Martha," Alex said. "Not any person. You did what only someone with a huge heart can do, and I can never thank you enough." Martha looked at him with bright eyes but said nothing. It was not needed. The principal went on. "Also, I want to suggest something. We are setting up a workshop for parents of children with visual disabilities, and I would like you two to take part, sharing your story. I think many families could learn from your experience. Alex hesitated. He was not someone used to talking about his feelings in public, but then he thought of all the families who might be going through the same thing he went through, the fear, the overprotection, the loneliness. And he understood that sharing his story could help them. I accept, but on one condition. Martha must speak too. She is the one who really has the experience. Martha nodded, though clearly nervous. Okay, we'll do it together. The workshop took place 2 weeks later. The hall was full of tired parents, worried, some with tears in their eyes. Alex recognized that look. It was the same one he had had for years. He went up on stage with Martha and started to talk. He told them about his fear, about the cameras, about the 7 nannies he fired. He told them about Martha, about how she taught him that protecting didn't mean locking up. He spoke of Lucy, of her bravery, of her smile, of her music. When he finished, several parents had tears in their eyes. Then Martha spoke. With a quiet voice, she told them about Claire, about her loss, about how she learned to turn pain into purpose. She gave them practical advice, how to describe the world, how to help independence, how to love without choking. At the end of the workshop, several parents went to thank them. One mother with a blind 6-year-old boy told Alex, "Thank you. I needed to hear this. I needed to know I am not alone." Alex squeezed her hand. "You are not alone, and your son is going to be fine. He just needs time, patience, and someone who believes in him." That night, while they returned home, Alex looked at Martha. "Thank you for agreeing to do this. Thank you for trusting me since the start." "I didn't trust from the start," Alex admitted, "but you taught me how to do it, and that changed everything." Martha smiled, that quiet smile he had come to know so well. "We all need someone to believe in us, Mr. Miller, even adults." A year later, the Miller house was unrecognizable, not because it had changed physically, but because the feel was completely different. There were laughs, music, talks. The walls no longer kept silence, they kept life. Lucy was 9.5 years old. She read fluently in Braille, played the piano with confidence, had friends who visited her on weekends. She had learned to ride a tandem bike with her father. She had taken part in a school play. She had won a prize for an essay on overcoming obstacles. Alex, for his part, had learned to let go. He no longer needed to control every part of his daughter's life. He trusted her. He trusted the world. He trusted that, even though things would not always be perfect, they both had the strength to face them. Martha still lived with them, but now she had her own room, her space, her freedom. Alex had offered many times to raise her pay, but she always said it wasn't about money. It was about family. One spring afternoon, while Lucy was doing her homework in the garden, Alex sat by Martha in the kitchen. She was making homemade bread with her hands covered in flour. "Martha, I want to ask you something. Tell me, are you happy here?" Martha looked up, surprised by the question. "Yes, Mr. Miller, very happy. I am glad, because I am also happy, and it is thanks to you." Martha wiped her hands on her apron and looked at him with that peace that seemed endless. "It is not thanks to me. It is thanks to you. You chose to change. You chose to trust." "I only walked the path with you." Alex shook his head. "No, Martha. Without you, I would still be locked in that study, looking at screens, believing that watching was loving. You saved me. You saved me and my daughter." Martha smiled, but there was sadness in her eyes. "Mr. Miller, there is something I must tell you." Alex felt a drop in his stomach. "What is it?" "My sister in Chicago is sick. She needs constant care, and she has no one else but me." Alex understood right away. "You are leaving?" Martha nodded slowly. "I don't want to leave Lucy, but I cannot leave my sister either." There was a long silence. Alex felt the world stop. The idea of losing Martha was unbearable, but then he remembered all she had taught him, about love, about sacrifice, about putting the needs of others above your own. "I understand," he said finally, "and I support you. Your sister needs you. But Lucy will be fine, because you gave her something no one else could, confidence in herself. And that no one can take away." Martha had tears in her eyes. "I don't want you to think I am leaving you." Alex took her hands, still covered in flour. "We would never think that. You gave us so much. Now it is our turn to let you go, even if it hurts." That night, Alex told Lucy, The girl stayed in silence a long time, processing the news. Then she asked, "Will she come back?" "I don't know, honey, but we can always visit her, and she will always be in our hearts." Lucy nodded with quiet tears going down her cheeks. "I want to give her something before she goes." During the next week, Lucy worked in secret on a project. Martha pretended not to notice, but she knew something was going on. The day before her leave, Lucy asked her to sit in the living room. "I have something for you, Martha." She gave her an envelope. Martha opened it carefully. Inside was a letter written in Braille, and under it a translation Alex had done by hand. "Dear Martha, thank you for teaching me to see the world, even though my eyes cannot. Thank you for your hands that speak, for your words that paint, for your patience that never gets tired. Thank you for making me feel brave. Thank you for being my friend. I am going to miss you a lot, but I know your sister needs you, and that is okay, because you taught me that loving sometimes means letting go. I love you, Lucy." Martha read the letter with tears running down her face. She hugged Lucy hard, saying nothing because there were not enough words. The next day, Alex took her to the train station. Lucy insisted on going with them. While they waited for the train, Martha knelt in front of the girl. "You are the bravest girl I know, Lucy. Never forget that. You are brave too, Martha, and you are always going to be my second mum." Martha could not hold back her crying. She hugged Lucy one last time, memorizing her smell, her warmth, her essence. Then she stood up and looked at Alex. "Take good care of her. Always. I promise." The train arrived. Martha got on with her worn backpack and her coffee thermos. From the window she saw them moving away. Alex with his hand on Lucy's shoulder, Lucy with her face lifted toward the sun, both waving goodbye. The train started to move, and as the city stayed behind, Martha closed her eyes and smiled, because she knew she had left Lucy in good hands, the hands of her father. The first days without Martha were like walking through an unknown house. Every corner held her absence, the kitchen without, the smell of her bread, the garden without her voice describing flowers, the silences that she used to fill with stories and patience. Lucy asked for her every morning, and Alex answered with the truth, that she was caring for her sister, that they missed her, that it was normal to feel sad. One night, 2 weeks after Martha left, Lucy could not sleep. Alex heard her bare feet in the hall and came out of his room. He found her sitting on the stairs, hugging her knees. "Can't sleep, honey." Lucy shook her head. "I miss her voice. She told me stories before bed, and now everything is very quiet." Alex sat by her, feeling the weight of his own lack. He had never been good at telling stories, but this time he didn't run. "Do you want me to tell you a story?" Lucy looked at him surprised. "You?" "Yes, me. It won't be as good as Martha's, but I will try." They went together to Lucy's room. Alex tucked her in and sat on the edge of the bed. He breathed deep and started to speak. He told her about his own childhood, about his father who worked in the fields, about the oak trees he cared for with his hands. He told her about his mother who cooked Sunday dinner and sang while she swept the porch. He told her about the time he got lost at the market and cried from fear until his mother found him and hugged him, telling him he would never, ever be alone. Lucy listened closely, touching her father's face with her fingers, as if she wanted to memorize every look. "Was your mum like Martha?" Alex smiled in the dark. "Yes, I think so. She had that same quiet love, the kind that doesn't need to shout to be felt." "And was your dad like you?" "No. He was better than me. More present, more patient." He paused. "But I am learning to be like him." Lucy yawned, sleep finally coming. "I liked your story, Dad. Tell me another one tomorrow." "I promise." He kissed her on the forehead and left the room with a lighter heart. He had taken a small step, and tomorrow he would take another. Weeks passed. Alex hired Elena, a 30-year-old woman with bright eyes and a real smile. She didn't try to be Martha, and that was what Alex liked most. Elena had her own style, more active, more modern, but just as respectful. She taught Lucy how to use voice apps on the phone, introduced her to audiobooks, spoke to her about tools that Alex didn't even know were real. "Mr. Miller," Elena told him one afternoon, "Lucy is brilliant, but she also needs challenges. Have you thought about putting her in adapted swimming classes? It is great for her growth and her confidence." Alex had thought about swimming but always said no. The water seemed dangerous, unpredictable. But then he remembered Martha's words. Fear does not protect, it chokes. Let's look into it, he said. 2 weeks later, Lucy took her first swimming class. Alex watched her from the stands with a knot in his stomach, but when he saw his daughter smile while she floated in the water, guided by a patient teacher, he understood he was doing the right thing. That night, during dinner, Lucy could not stop talking. Dad, the water has sound. When I move my arms, I hear how it moves apart. And when I go under, everything becomes different, like I am in another world. Alex smiled, serving her more salad. I am glad you like it. Do you know how to swim? Yes, I learned when I was a boy. Would you swim with me one day? Alex felt a warmth in his chest. It had been years since he swam. It had been years since he did anything fun with his daughter. I would love that. The next Saturday they went to the pool together. Alex put on the trunks he hadn't used since before his wife died and got into the water with Lucy. Elena watched them from the edge, ready to help if needed. But it wasn't needed. Alex held Lucy while she practiced floating. He described how to move her arms, how to kick, how to breathe. And when Lucy managed to swim a few yards alone, with her small arms cutting the water with focus, Alex felt an emotion so big he had to blink so he wouldn't cry. I did it, Dad. I swam alone. Yes, you did. I'm very proud of you. He hugged her in the water, feeling her small heart beat against his, feeling that finally he was being the father he should have been from the start. Months passed with a strange speed. Summer became fall, and the oak trees started to change color. Lucy turned 10. Alex planned a party in the garden, inviting her school friends, Elena, the teachers. There were balloons, music, a chocolate cake he had helped decorate. When Lucy blew out the candles, she made a wish in silence. Alex did not ask what she wished for, but he guessed it had to do with Martha. That night, after everyone left, while they cleaned the party mess together, Alex asked her, "Did you have fun?" "A lot. It was the best birthday of my life." "I am glad. You deserve it." Lucy stayed silent a moment, putting the plates on the counter. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Always." "Do you miss Mom?" The question took him by surprise. It had been a while since they talked about her. "Every day, honey, every day." "I do too, but it doesn't hurt as much as before." "Is that wrong?" Alex knelt in front of her, taking her hands. "No, my love, it's not wrong. It means you are healing." And that is what she would have wanted. For you to be happy, to grow, to live, not to stay stuck in pain. Lucy nodded, with quiet tears going down her cheeks. "Martha told me something like that. She told me love doesn't end when someone leaves. It just changes shape." Martha was right. They hugged in the kitchen, surrounded by dirty plates and wrinkled napkins, but full of a love that no longer had fear. One November afternoon, 6 months after Martha left, Alex was in his study when the phone rang. It was her. "Mr. Miller, how are you?" Martha's voice sounded different, lighter, less tired. "Martha, what a joy to hear you. We are fine. And you? How are you? How is your sister?" "She got better." "Completely. It was a long road, but she is stable now. She has even gone back to work at her flower shop." "I'm very glad to hear that." "I am too. But I miss you. I miss Lucy. Can I talk to her?" "Of course. Let me find her." Alex found Lucy in her room, reading a Braille book on space. When he told her who was on the phone, the girl screamed with joy and ran to take the phone. "Martha, I miss you so much. I miss you too, little one. Tell me everything. How is school?" Lucy told her about her swimming classes, about the piano show she took part in, about the reading contest she won, about her friends, about Elena. She talked without stopping for 20 minutes, with a happiness you could feel. Martha listened, asking questions, laughing, cheering every win as if it were her own. "I am very proud of you, Lucy. You have grown so much." "It's thanks to you, Martha. You taught me to be brave." "No, little one. You were already brave. I only helped you see it." There was a comfortable silence full of love. "Will you come visit us?" "Soon, I promise. For now, my sister still needs me. But when things are quieter, I will come. I will wait for you." "I know. Now give me your dad, okay?" Lucy gave the phone back to Alex, with her eyes bright with happiness. "Mr. Miller," Martha said, "I want to thank you." "Thank me? Why?" "For letting Lucy be happy, for not locking her in your fear, for being the father she needed." Alex felt a knot in his throat. "I am the one who Should thank you, Martha. You saved us both. I didn't save you. I only showed you the path, but you were the ones who chose to walk it. They talked a bit more, about life, about plans, about the future. When they hung up, Alex stayed with the phone in his hand, smiling. Martha was fine, Lucy was fine, he was fine, everything was fine. That night after dinner, Alex suggested to Lucy to go out to the garden. The November air was cool but nice, smelling of the last jasmines of the year. They sat on the stone bench under the oldest oak tree, the same tree that had seen generations of his family grow. "Dad, what are you thinking?" Lucy asked, leaning her head on his shoulder. "About everything that has changed. About how much you have grown. You have changed too. Before you were almost never here, and now you are always here." Alex felt a sting of guilt, but also of thanks. Thanks because he still had time. Time to fix things. Time to love. "Do you know what I learned, honey?" "What?" "That. Being present doesn't mean being in a place physically. It means being there with your heart. And for a long time my heart was hidden, scared, locked away. But you and Martha taught me to open it." Lucy smiled. "Martha says love is like a plant. If you don't water it, it dries up. But if you care for it, it grows and grows." "That is very wise." "She is wise. And you are learning to be too." Alex laughed, surprised by his daughter's sharp mind. "You are right. I am learning." They stayed in silence, listening to the wind in the leaves, the sound of the crickets, the distant noise of the city. Lucy lifted her face toward the dark sky. "Dad, describe the sky to me." Alex looked up. The night was clear, and the stars shone with unusual strength. "The sky is black, but it's not an empty black. It's a deep black, like velvet. And there are thousands of stars, Lucy. So many they look like diamond dust spread by a giant hand. Some shine more than others. Some blink, and if you look closely, you can see the Milky Way, which is like a white river that crosses the sky from side to side. It sounds beautiful. It is." He paused. "But do you know what is most beautiful?" "What?" "That even if you can't see them, the stars are there. They have been there for millions of years, and they will stay there for millions more. They are constant, they are eternal, like the love I have for you." Lucy smiled, with tears of happiness sliding down her cheeks. "Dad, can I tell you something?" "Sure. I'm not scared of the dark anymore." Alex felt something inside him break and heal at the same time. "No? No. Because I learned that the dark isn't bad. It's just the absence of light. And light doesn't just come from the sun or lamps. It comes from the people who love us. From you, from Martha, from my friends, from everyone who makes me feel safe." Alex hugged her, holding her against his chest, feeling her small heart beat strong. "You are the wisest and bravest girl I know, Lucy, and I am very lucky to be your father. I am lucky to be your daughter, too." They stayed like that, hugging under the stars, father and daughter joined by a love that had been tested, broken, and rebuilt. A stronger love now, more aware, more real. Alex closed his eyes and thought of Martha, of her endless patience, of her quiet wisdom. He thought of his wife, who would be proud of the family they had become despite the pain. He thought of all the cameras he had unplugged, of all the fears he had let go, of all the hugs he now let himself give without hold. And he understood something fundamental, something that would take the rest of his life to practice, but that he had finally understood. To love was not to control. To love was not to protect until you choke. To love was to trust. It was to let go. It was to be present even from far away. It was to believe in the strength of the other, even when you yourself shake with fear. To love was to see with the heart, not with the eyes. And in that quiet garden, under a sky full of lights invisible to his daughter but bright in her mind, Alex finally knew he had done it. He had learned to love without fear. And that, he found, was the only light that really mattered, the only one that would never go out. Because what is seen with eyes is temporary, but what is felt with the soul, that which lives in the secret places of the heart, is eternal. And true love does not need to be seen to exist. It only needs to be lived.